Okay. Good evening. And welcome to everyone who's joining us on the internet. Well, everyone had an extra week of going to bed at night with the opportunity to ask, did virtue go out from me today? And let me just suggest that, because we're now moving on in the book, it doesn't mean that it's not an excellent idea to continue to ask yourself that question each night. Because I'll tell you something. This is what's going to make a difference for you, for your brother, for the world. For you to keep a conscious intent alive in you daily, to be willing to really connect with your brothers and sisters, to really be present with them with the willingness to recognize God there, and to be willing to be receptive of God's perspective of them within you, is exactly what will bring about not only a shift of perception, a sudden shift of perception, it will bring about probably a gradual rather than sudden shift in your being. A shift in the way you be present in the world. A shift in which you are not constantly coming from your memory with knee-jerk responses out of habit. It will remind you that each moment is the opportunity to be fresh, freshly, in a way you've never been before. You see, if we are going to talk about a goal, what's the goal? The goal is to not be the way you've been being. To not be subject to sin, sickness, and death. To not be subject to fear. To not behave out of fear. You're right in the middle of the kingdom of heaven. Right now. You're not perceiving it as what it is. It's your birthright to be experiencing it exactly as it is. And so the call is for literally something new to happen in you that allows you, as I said, to be in a new way. So that you begin to neglect to energize your old habits of thinking, your old habits of perceiving, and thereby make room for insight, even revelation. Every day is your opportunity to have this experience. Every day is not the opportunity to have the experience you had yesterday. So like Captain Kirk and all those on the spaceship, the Starship Enterprise, every day is the opportunity for you to go where no man has gone before. I mean that literally. And I mean that you should expect to have experiences you haven't had before, and to accept what I'm telling you is the fact that you have the capacity. And you have the capacity because you're far more than you think you are. You're not this little pissant mortal, this little physical, inconsequentially small physical body in the middle of a huge universe, physical universe. You are the mind, the conscious awareness in which all of these experiences of body, world, and universe are going on. And this mind that you are has no boundaries. At this moment, it has no boundaries. But you know what? We talked last week about the blueprints for disease. You have blueprints in your mind that have become like a sieve through which you look at the kingdom of heaven and you see it in the configuration caused by the blueprint. The confident concepts you entertain about what everything is and how everything must work. And you know what? It's time for you to become released from those blueprints. And every time we talk, I am helping you realize that you don't have to abide by the blueprints. And I am reminding you to be curious beyond them, which means that you necessarily must be willing to invalidate them. At least to say to yourself, maybe the way I'm perceiving everything isn't exactly right. I don't require you to say to yourself that they are totally wrong, or that you must do this all in one giant leap. But I am encouraging you not to be so damn sure that you know tomorrow basically how everything is going to be and how everything is going to behave. And that if certain events happen, certain consequent events will have to happen. So that you might be in each moment of tomorrow with innocent eyes, with a willingness to see what you're not expecting, to see something that functions outside the blueprint you have established in your mind as the basis for perceiving correctly. So, please, continue to ask yourself each night, has virtue gone out from me? And if it hasn't, then avail yourself of the opportunity tomorrow. So that you begin to be, not think about, not reason about, but you have reason to be a transformational presence in your world. Your world is in need of healing. And the healing isn't going to arise out of already established blueprints. And your various countries are attempting to the best of their ability to correct problems according to existing blueprints. Certain principles of law, certain principles of order, certain agreed upon principles of behavior, even rules of war. you see. Blueprints. How do you get free of blueprints? You get free of blueprints by being willing to be present with needs. Are needs intellectual? Well, you can imagine needs like, I want to become a successful person in the world. I want to become a millionaire. I want to be somebody who has enough money to do truly good works in the world. You say, well, these are wonderful ideas, but it's a head trip. How do you do good things in the world? Well, you pay attention to needs. For example, you're in the army and you're a potato peeler. And you realize that there needs to be a more effective way of peeling potatoes. And so you open yourself up to what the possibilities are. And in the act of inviting something more than the historical pattern through decades of military protocols of how to peel potatoes, you get an idea. And it's a good idea and it meets the need, and you've been a transformational presence. Because for one thing, whatever you realized is one day going to end up in the supermarket for the housewife to use. So it will reach far. It's the little things that make the difference if you're willing to be present with the need. The word need doesn't really mean lack. It doesn't mean needy, which is something you can have judgments about. Oh, I don't want to be a needy person. See, needy people are not respectable. Nobody respects a needy person. And now we've gotten into ego dynamics about personality and your picture of yourself and how you want the world to see you and so on. We're not in touch with need at all anymore. Need is when you experience an inconvenience, we'll say, that you don't enjoy, that doesn't need to be. Need can appear as lack, presenting itself to you as a fact, to be accepted, and accepting it is the way to deal with it. That's one way it can be looked at. But need is always a form of pregnancy, if I can put it that way. It's need is a pregnant is a pregnancy about to be fulfilled, which means it is an experience that brings to light the fact that something is incomplete. But the reason the awareness of its incompleteness occurs to you is because something is coming to fill it. That's new. So you've got to stop being afraid of the experience of need and the willingness to address needs, the willingness to be with a brother or a sister who is in need, who is interpreting the need as a lack and something that reflects poorly on him or her. And to be able to be with that brother or sister in a way that facilitates the birth, rather than confirming their perception of lack and what it has to say about them. transition from one mode of operation to an improved mode of operation is a movement of pregnancy and birth. And each day, you want to be able to be present in your day with that kind of frame of mind in which you are willing to be, for lack of better words, the word has escaped Paul. What is the name of a woman attending a mother delivering a child? A midwife, yes. You have the opportunity to be the midwife of, in the delivery, the coming forth of clarification in you. Some women on the delivery table behave in a way that certainly looks like there's an emergency happening, that there's a dire need. A dire need. Well, there is, but it's not dire, it's wonderful. It's birth. And if the mother can become unafraid of what's happening, if she can relax to the best of her ability and not tense up, even though the delivery may be strenuous, it will be more comfortable. It will be more graceful. And I understand that the majority of the women listening who have given birth will say, there ain't nothing graceful about it at all. But you do know what I mean. Now, as a mother, you have no choice but to hang in there with the movement, right? And what we've been talking about last week in terms of healing is that each of you has to be willing to hang in with the movement of healing, even though in the process those you're working with may be gnashing their teeth and may not at the moment be seeing what is happening as different from the way they're perceiving it, with a different outcome than the one they're expecting. So, it's when you're willing to be present with the needs, the simple human needs, not lofty ones. I need to spiritualize myself. Well, good luck. But if you want to have the experience of spiritualization, then come down to earth and pay attention to the human needs and be willing to be present with them, with the Father at your side, or the Holy Spirit at your side, or me at your side, so that together we may look upon the need and watch the coming forth of the meeting of the need, which, because of the perspective that is available with the Father or the Holy Spirit or me, the movement of need being met will be so obviously divine that you will feel the divinity of it and the extension of it, and you will know that virtue has gone out from you. you will know that virtue has gone out from you because the experience will be recognizably holy. And this in itself will be confirmation for you that indeed there is really a God, and you're not Him. And yet you're inseparable from Him, and your partnership, if I may put it that way, with Him is enhanced. Your experience of your inseparability from Him is confirmed to you more firmly than ever before, which will inspire you the next day to, with more confidence, be willing to be present with your brother and your world with actually the hope, the anticipation of experiencing virtue going out from you again. The world's needs might seem to you to be something you couldn't possibly address. But I promise you that each time virtue goes out from you in your day, where simple human needs have been successfully addressed, no matter how small they are, it is like the leaven that leavens the whole lump. It makes a difference. Put a little yellow sticky note on your refrigerator with the word leaven on it. Just to remind yourself that that's what you're here to be, the leaven. The little inconsequential leaven that leavens the whole thing. Not because it's trying to, but because, what? It does its job in this particular place, in the dough. Give yourself reminders. Ask yourself at night, did I feel virtue go out from me today? And in the morning when you get up and you go in the kitchen and you see the word leaven, it will be a reminder to you that you're here to be the leaven during the day. Keep reminders like this handy, because it's so easy for you to get caught up in the old blueprints. They are such habits. And the habits need to be broken. They need to be broken because they constitute illegitimate bondages that it is not appropriate or fair for you to be experiencing. When it's not your habit to be present in the world with the desire for virtue to go out from you, you won't spontaneously think to do it. So provide yourself with reminders. Because it's only by doing it, even if it's only the intent brought into play many times a day, whether there seems to be success or not, it's only that act of bringing it into play consciously every day that the habit that had been governing you can begin to weaken and dissolve and make room for the new experience. So, yes, use a little self-discipline. Be willing to be conscientious about it. You close the drawer on your finger real hard, and it swells up and it's very uncomfortable. I bet none of you have any trouble being conscientious about not banging that finger on anything. Now, if you can be conscientious like that, so that you don't hurt, you can be conscientious in terms of an intent to be that which brings peace, that which brings transformation. The only thing is that you don't have pain to drive your conscientiousness. So it takes a little bit more conscious direction. You can do it. And I just encourage you to begin to do it. And bring all of this A Course in Miracles theory, or religious theory, or spiritual theory out of your head and into your actions. Now, lots of Christian preachers have said much the same thing to their congregations. But you know what the difference is? I'm telling you that you're doing this in the here and now, not only meets the human needs that are part of the human experience. What I'm encouraging you to do has the ultimate purpose of moving you out of the frame of mind you're currently in into a new one in which the kingdom of heaven can begin to appear to you right here, right now, today, tomorrow, not after you die, not for future generations. Because, as I've said, you've been behaving as though you're orphans, and you're not. Now, you have to bring some of your own gumption into play and actually begin to do this. Because it's in the doing of it and experiencing the actual healing, the actual transformation that results, that awakens you to the fact that what is divinely true about you is true now and is experienceable now and is worth the effort that you have to bring into play. Again, none of what we're talking about is a means of your finding bliss that allows you to endure the human condition without it changing. Correction isn't punishment for wrongdoing. Correction is to become free of that which was false, but which you had been bound by.